Jake Morrison stood with his class outside the National Space Museum. The building looked like a giant silver dome, with windows that reflected the blue Iowa sky. His teacher, Mrs. Johnson, kept telling everyone to stay close. Jake didn't mind. At 12 years old, he was the quiet one in his class. While other kids talked loudly, he liked to watch and listen. "Look at this," Emma Walsh called out. She was from a different school but part of the same field trip group. The 11-year-old from Ohio had bright red hair and always spoke up first. "There's a real moon rock inside." Tyler Brooks pushed up his glasses and smiled. The 13-year-old from Illinois loved technology more than anything. "Did you know that moon rock is billions of years old? I read about it online last night." Sophie Martinez was drawing in her sketchbook. The 10-year-old from Nebraska had been quiet all morning, but her eyes were wide as she looked at the museum. She drew everything she saw, every tiny detail. Inside the museum, the group of 400 kids split into smaller teams. Jake, Emma, Tyler, and Sophie ended up together by chance. They moved from room to room looking at rockets, spacesuits, and models of planets. "Can you imagine being an astronaut?" Emma asked as they stared at a display of Mars. "I can," Tyler said. "The math for space travel is really interesting. You have to calculate." A strange sound interrupted him. It was like the air was humming. The lights in the museum started to flicker. "What was that?" Sophie asked, her pencil frozen on her paper. The humming grew louder. Through the window, they saw something impossible. A huge ship, bigger than 10 football fields, hovered above the city. It was dark metal with strange lights that moved in circles. People started screaming. The alien ship shot down beams of blue light. When the light touched people, they stopped moving and floated upward. "Run!" Jake shouted. For once, he wasn't quiet. He grabbed Sophie's hand and pulled her toward the exit. Emma and Tyler followed, but it was too late. The blue light found them too. Jake felt his feet leave the ground. His body stopped listening to him. Sophie's sketchbook fell and hit the floor. They floated up through the roof as if it wasn't there. Other people floated beside them. Adults from the museum, kids from other schools. Even a bus driver who had been parking outside. Inside the alien ship, they could move again. The room was vast and dark. Strange creatures stood around them. They looked like insects but walked on 2 legs. Their skin was gray and shiny, and they had 4 arms each. "Excellent specimens," one creature said in perfect English. Its voice sounded like metal scraping against metal. "These will bring good credits at the slave markets." "What do you want?" Emma shouted. She wasn't scared anymore, just angry. "Silence, primitive," another alien said. It pointed a device at Emma. A green light hit her, and she couldn't speak anymore. Jake felt cold inside. Slave markets? These creatures had taken them to sell them? "Process them quickly," the first alien commanded. "We have other worlds to visit tonight." The 4 kids were pushed into a large holding area. Hundreds of other beings were already there. Jake saw creatures with scales, others with fur, and some that looked like walking plants. They all looked confused and scared. A tall being with blue skin moved closer to them. "You're the humans from Earth, yes?" Sophie nodded, still unable to speak. "I am Krell from Zotha Prime. We were taken 3 days ago. These are the Zarnoks. They raid primitive planets for slaves and test subjects." "Test subjects?" Tyler asked, his face pale. Krell's face moved in what might have been sadness. "They experiment on beings, study our bodies. Most don't survive." Emma made angry sounds, pointing at the aliens. The green light was still keeping her from talking. "Your species is new to them," Krell continued. "They've been watching Earth for years, decided humans might sell well in the Outer Rim markets." Jake felt sick. All his life he'd dreamed about meeting aliens, but in his dreams aliens were friendly. They came to help Earth, not hurt it. The ship started moving. Through small windows, they watched Earth get smaller and smaller until it was just a point of light. Then even that disappeared. For 2 days they traveled through space. The Zarnoks gave them strange food that tasted like plastic. They slept on hard metal floors. Sophie drew pictures of home on scraps of paper she found. Tyler kept asking the aliens questions about their technology. Emma paced back and forth, still silent but clearly planning something. Jake watched everything. He noticed how the guards changed every few hours. He noticed which aliens were kinder than others. He noticed the patterns of lights that might be a navigation system. On the third day, they arrived at a space station. It was massive, with hundreds of ships docked to it. The Zarnoks moved their prisoners onto the station in groups. "This is a way station," Krell whispered. "From here, they'll ship you to different places. Some to mines, some to research centers, some to—" "We need to escape," Jake said quietly. It was the longest sentence he'd spoken since being taken. Tyler nodded. "I've been studying their technology. The green light device has a limited power source. If we could overload it—" Emma pointed to her mouth, then to Jake. He understood. "We need to free Emma first." Sophie held up a drawing. It showed the guard's rotation schedule. She had been paying attention too. That night, when most Zarnoks were sleeping, they made their move. Tyler had figured out how to short-circuit Emma's silence device by using water from their cups. When Emma could talk again, her first words were, "Let's show these aliens what happens when they mess with human kids." Jake smiled. Maybe they weren't just scared children anymore. Maybe they could fight back. The space station had emergency capsules for evacuation. Jake had seen them during their transfer. If they could reach one— "Are you ready?" he asked his friends. They nodded. For the first time since being taken, hope flickered in their hearts. The war hadn't started yet, but these 4 kids from Earth were about to light the spark that would change the galaxy forever. The alarm started blaring at exactly 3:47 a.m. in Colorado. Admiral Ryan Clark was sleeping when his phone started ringing with the special emergency tone. He sat up in bed and grabbed the phone before it woke his wife. "Clark here. Sir, we have a code black. 4 children confirmed missing. Alien involvement suspected." The words hit him like ice water. Code black meant alien abduction. He'd trained for this day, but nothing prepared him for hearing those words. "I'll be at base in 20 minutes. At the Global Defense Initiative headquarters, chaos filled the main control room. Screens showed data streams, satellite images, and worried parents' faces. Dr. Lisa Chen stood at the center console, her hands flying over holographic displays. "What do we know?" Admiral Clark asked as he entered. 4 children vanished from the National Space Museum. Same time, same method, blue energy signatures. "We tracked the quantum trail until it hit light speed," Dr. Chen replied. Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed fear. General Frank Miller slammed his fist on the table. "Damn it! We knew this day would come. Where's Director Anderson?" "Right here." Kate Anderson walked through the door. She was young for her position, but everyone respected her sharp mind. "I've got bad news. This isn't the first time. They've been taking people from remote areas for months. We didn't connect the dots." The room went silent. Admiral Clark felt sick. "How many more were out there?" "We need to move fast," he said. "Dr. Chen, can we track them?" "Yes. The alien ship used a quantum drive. It leaves a trail we can follow for about 12 hours. After that—" She didn't finish the sentence. "Then we leave in 6 hours," Clark decided. "Miller, prep our best teams. Anderson, contact the Security Council. Tell them we're going to war." The next hours were a blur. Earth's 3 newest warships, the ESS Retribution, ESS Vengeance, and ESS Justice, were quickly prepared. Each ship was armed with weapons that had been developed from studying the alien probe they'd secretly recovered 5 years ago. Captain Dan Cooper commanded the Retribution. He was 45, experienced, but had never expected to lead humanity's first real space battle. Commander Alex Green, his tactical officer, reviewed battle plans with teams from NASA, the military, and the best scientists Earth had. "We're not just saving 4 kids," General Miller addressed the assembled force. "We're telling the galaxy that Earth is no longer prey. 500 soldiers, the best from every nation, prepared for the mission. They wore powered armor developed from alien technology. Their weapons could cut through tank armor like paper, but no one knew if it would work against real alien ships. "Sir?" Agent Collins approached Director Anderson. "We're getting news reports. People saw the alien ship. There's panic in the streets." "Let them know," Anderson decided. "The public deserves truth, but tell them we're going to bring our children home." By dawn, every news channel showed the 3 Earth warships rising into the sky. For the first time in history, humanity was leaving the solar system with a purpose other than exploration. Inside the Retribution, Admiral Clark spoke to his crew. "We're not just soldiers today. We're Earth's voice to the universe. These aliens think we're primitive. They think we can't fight back. They're wrong." The quantum drives engaged. Space itself seemed to bend around the ships as they followed the trail left by the Zarnox vessel. The journey would take them beyond anything humans had seen before. On Earth, parents gathered in churches, temples, and community centers. The Dise families of Jake, Emma, Tyler, and Sophie gave tearful interviews. Their faces appeared on every screen, reminding everyone what was at stake. "Please bring them home." Jake's mother begged the cameras. "He's just a child. He collects stamps and loves physics books, please." Earth's governments worked together for the first time in years. Russia, China, Europe, and the Americas combined their military forces. Every space agency contributed. Every scientist who had studied the little alien technology Earth possessed was put to work. "We're detecting more signals," Dr. Chen reported 3 hours into the journey. "They're not just taking humans, they've raided at least 12 other planets." "Multiple species?" Clark asked. "Yes. And from what we can decode, they're being transported to some kind of trading station." The Admiral's jaw tightened. Slave traders. That's what they were dealing with. On the bridge of the Retribution, Sensor Officer Helen Mills called out, "Admiral, we're picking up the alien ship, and there are more, a lot more." The tactical display filled with enemy contacts. Over 50 ships of various sizes orbited a massive space station, the Zarnox Trading Center. "Battle stations," Clark ordered. "All hands, this is your Admiral. Remember why we're here. Remember who we're saving." As the Earth ships prepared for combat, a message arrived from the Zarnox command ship. "Unknown. Vessels, you are entering restricted space. Turn back immediately or be destroyed." Commander Green translated the response through the alien communication device they'd reverse-engineered. "Admiral, should we talk to them?" "No," Clark said firmly. "They don't talk to prey, they eat it, and today they'll learn that Earth doesn't talk either." The 3 Earth warships pushed their engines to full power. Their hulls gleamed with new armor plating. Inside, soldiers checked their weapons one last time. Medical teams prepared for casualties. Jake, Emma, Tyler, Sophie. Captain Cooper whispered their names like a prayer. "Hold on, we're coming." The distance closed rapidly. Zarnox ships began moving into defensive positions. Alert signals flashed across their consoles. They'd never seen ships like Earth's before. They didn't know what these primitives were capable of. In the depths of space far from Earth's yellow sun, humanity prepared to announce itself to the galaxy. Not as explorers seeking knowledge, or traders looking for profit, but as protectors of their own. "All ships, weapons hot," Admiral Clark commanded. "Today we show them what happens when you take our children." The battle for humanity's place in the cosmos was about to begin. The space station was huge, bigger than anything the humans had imagined. It looked like a metal city floating in space, with hundreds of ships docked at different levels. Jake and his friends crawled through narrow air vents, their hearts beating fast. "Left here," Tyler whispered. He had drawn a map based on what they'd seen during their transfer 2 days ago. Sophie had added details from her sketches, showing where guards patrolled. Behind them, explosions shook the station. The escape they'd started had triggered alarms. Zarnox security forces were searching every level. "We need to hurry," Emma said. She carried a stolen energy stick, the only weapon they'd managed to grab. "That escape pod won't wait forever." They'd been planning this for days. Krell, the alien prisoner from another planet, had helped them. He stayed behind to cause a distraction, leading other prisoners in a riot on the lower levels. The vent opened into a storage room. Jake dropped down first, checking for danger. The room was full of alien technology they couldn't understand. But there, in the corner, was what they needed. The computer terminal, Jake said. Tyler, can you access it? Tyler had been watching. The Zarnoks used their systems. He touched the screen and symbols appeared. I think I can navigate it. Let me try. While Tyler worked, Emma guarded the door. Sophie looked at the strange equipment around them, drawing quick sketches. Jake kept thinking about home, about his parents, about his dog Max. I'm in, Tyler suddenly whispered excitedly. I can see the defense grid controls, and there's something else. Earthships, 3 of them, approaching the station. The children looked at each other with hope. Help was coming. Far outside the station, Admiral Clark watched the tactical display. Captain Cooper, their shields are at maximum. We need to find a weak point. Sir, Commander Green reported, we're detecting an energy surge. Something's happening inside the station. Inside their storage room, Tyler's face was bright with excitement. I did it. I lowered their shields in Sector 7. The shields are down. The timing couldn't have been better. The ESS Retribution fired its main cannon through the gap Tyler had created. The blast hit a major power junction on the station. Lights flickered throughout the facility. Emergency systems activated. In the confusion, the children ran for the escape pod bay. But they weren't alone. Hundreds of other prisoners had the same idea. Aliens of all shapes and sizes crowded the corridors. Some were helping others, while some fought over the few escape pods. Make way, commanded a voice in their heads. It was Krell. He pushed through, the crowd with other strong prisoners creating a path for the children. Little ones, hurry! They reached the escape pod bay just as Zarnok's guards arrived. Energy weapons lit up the air. Krell and other aliens fought to give the children time. Go! Krell shouted as he grabbed a guard. Save yourselves! The 4 kids scrambled into an escape pod. Tyler punched controls randomly until the hatch closed. The pod launched into space, just as an explosion rocked the bay. Outside, the pod drifted toward the battle. Earthships and Zarnok's vessels fought fiercely. Lasers and missiles lit up the darkness. The massive trading station slowly broke apart, pieces spinning off into space. Look, Sophie pointed. More Earthships were arriving. Backup forces that Admiral Clark had kept hidden. The Zarnoks were surprised. Their intelligence reports said humans were primitive. They had basic rockets, not warships. They weren't supposed to fight back. They certainly weren't supposed to win. An escape pod from the station tumbled past the ESS Retribution. Captain Cooper saw it and ordered it brought aboard. Sir, a crew member reported moments later. We have children. Human children. Admiral Clark rushed to the recovery bay. 4 kids sat wrapped in thermal blankets, looking tired but alive. I'm Admiral Clark, he said softly. Are you Jake Morrison, Emma Walsh, Tyler Brooks, and Sophie Martinez? They nodded. You're safe now. We're taking you home. But what about the others? Emma asked quickly. There are more prisoners, not just humans. Aliens from other planets. The Zarnoks were going to sell them or use them for experiments. Clark was about to say they focused on human children, but he paused. He looked at his security officer, who nodded slightly. We'll save them all, he decided. The battle continued around them. More escape pods launched from the dying station. Earthships worked to capture them, saving hundreds of prisoners from many worlds. The Zarnoks command ship attempted to retreat. It was their largest vessel, heavily armed. But the humans had a surprise. The ESS Justice activated a new weapon they'd developed, a quantum disruptor that could stop ships from entering light speed. Sir, the Zarnok ship is trapped, reported Green. They're signaling surrender. Tell them we don't take surrender, yet, Admiral Clark said. They have children aboard, lots of them. They're going to release every prisoner before we consider talking. The Zarnoks had no choice, their shields were failing. Ships they'd thought were primitive had torn through their fleet. Escape pods full of prisoners shot from the command ship. Admiral, called the communications officer. We're getting messages from other ships, not just Zarnox, other species. They're asking what's happening. Open a channel, Clark ordered. Broadcast to all ships. He stood straight as the communication system connected. This is Admiral Ryan Clark of Earth. These Zarnox ships attacked our planet and kidnapped our children. They've been raiding primitive worlds and trading in slaves. This ends now. Across space, alien ships of many kinds received the message. For some, it was their first contact with humans. For others, it confirmed rumors they'd heard. On the Retribution's bridge, the 4 children watched Earth's fleet organize the rescue of hundreds of prisoners. Ships that had come to trade with the Zarnox quickly left, not wanting to be associated with slavers. Did we do this? Jake asked quietly. Did us escaping start all this? You started the battle, Admiral Clark said, putting a hand on Jake's shoulder. But the war started when they took you. Earth doesn't forget. Earth doesn't forgive. And Earth always protects its own. As the last escape pods docked with Earth ships, the Zarnox trading station broke apart completely. Its pieces scattered among the stars, a warning to others who might think Earth was an easy target. The 4 children had been gone from home for only days, but they had changed the galaxy forever. Soon, they would return to Earth as heroes. But first, they had to help Earth decide what to do with hundreds of prisoners who now looked to humans for protection. The rescue was complete, but the real challenge was just beginning. The message reached Zarnox Prime 3 hours after the station's destruction. Supreme Commander Vexthar stood in his war room, all forearms shaking with rage. The holographic display showed the battle repeatedly. Impossible, he screeched. Primitive humans destroyed our station, our fleet. Counselor Turan clicked his mandibles nervously. They have technology we didn't know about. Real warships, not those crude rockets they use for satellites. They were supposed to be harmless. Vexthar slammed his fist on the table. Our scouts said they couldn't even reach their nearest planet. The scouts were wrong, Turan admitted. They've been hiding their advancement. They may have stolen our technology from earlier raids. Vexthar wasn't listening. His gray eyes gleamed with anger. No primitive species challenges the Zarnox Empire. Mobilize every ship. We burn their planet to ash, Supreme Commander. Turan hesitated. Perhaps we should negotiate, return their prisoners and pay compensation. You coward. Vexthar turned to his communication officer. Send a message to their ships. They have 1 cycle to surrender completely, or we destroy Earth. Back on Earth's fleet, Admiral Clark read the translated message with Director Anderson and General Miller. They'd expected this. They want total surrender, Anderson said, and they're threatening Earth directly. How many ships can they send? General Miller asked. Intelligence suggests 200 warships, report the Earth's data analysts. They're the 3rd largest military power in this sector. Admiral Clark looked at his officers. What they don't know is that Earth has been building ships for 20 years. We have 50 more warships hiding on the far side of our moon. We need a strategy, Anderson said. We can't fight 200 ships with 53. Actually, Captain Cooper said, we might not need to. Our quantum drills showed us something. Zarnox ships are powerful but slow. They rely on mass, not speed. What are you suggesting? Clark asked. Guerrilla warfare, Cooper smiled. Hit-and-run tactics. Use our speed advantage. The plan came together quickly. Earth would split its force. Some ships would defend their position, while others would travel to different systems, attacking Zarnox supply lines and communication. Relays. Sir, Green reported. The Zarnox are moving. 100 ships are heading for our position. The rest are heading to Earth. Clark felt cold. They'd send a massive force to attack Earth directly. Commander, he ordered, prepare coded quantum transmission to Earth defense grid. They need to activate Protocol Titan. Protocol Titan was Earth's secret defense. Hidden shipyards had built orbital defenses around Earth. Massive railguns, shield generators, and automated drone fighters waited in small asteroids and space debris. Jake, Emma, Tyler, and Sophie were aboard the ESS Justice, the fastest ship in Earth's fleet. They'd asked to help, and after what they'd been through, no one could say no. We can help predict their attack patterns, Tyler explained. We spent days watching how they think and act. They attack in swarms, Sophie added, showing her drawings. But they have blind spots. Their formations are rigid, Jake said quietly. If one ship moves wrong, others have to adjust. Emma was more direct. They're bullies. When someone hits back hard, bullies get scared. Adult officers smiled at her. Simple words, but they contained wisdom. The Zarnox fleet arrived 2 days later. They were confident, their ships arranged in perfect battle formation. Vexthar commanded from his flagship, expecting easy victory. "Fire on the primitive fleet," he ordered. Energy weapons blazed across space, but Earth's ships scattered like leaves in wind. The rigid Zarnox formation struggled to hit them. Jake stood on the bridge of the Justice, pointing at the tactical display. "There, that gap. When the lead ship fires, the others have to hold position for 0.3 seconds. Captain Sims nodded, impressed. "Target that gap. All ships execute attack pattern Omega." Earth ships darted through the opening. Their focused fire hit the Zarnox flagship's engines. Vexthar's command ship began to spin out of control. "They're good," Cooper said on his bridge, "but they've never fought an enemy that uses their own tactics against them." For 3 hours the battle raged. Earth's ships used speed and precision, hitting weak points Sophie had identified in her drawings. Tyler's knowledge of their computer patterns helped jam their communications. "They're regrouping," Emma warned. "They'll try to surround us." "Let them try," Clark replied. He activated his secret weapon. 50 more Earth ships appeared from behind a moon. The hidden reinforcements attacked from behind. Vexthar couldn't believe it. These humans had outsmarted his trained warriors. As his flagship systems failed, he sent one last transmission to the Zarnox forces heading to Earth. Back at the Sol system, Zarnox ships emerged from quantum space. They spread out to surround Earth completely. In his command center, General Miller watched their approach. "Protocol Titan is active," his officer reported. "All systems green." The Zarnox closed in. Suddenly, hidden guns fired from seemingly empty space. Orbital platforms that had looked like asteroids revealed shields and weapons. Earth had turned its own system into a fortress. Admiral Park commanded the home defense. "They entered our house uninvited. Show them what happens when you threaten Earth." The battle for Earth's solar system was fierce but short. Automated drones swarmed around Zarnox ships like angry bees. Railguns fired at incredible speed, punching through shields. Hidden missile platforms disguised as communication satellites unleashed their deadly cargo. "This isn't possible," a Zarnox captain broadcast. "How can primitives have such defenses?" "We're not primitives," came Admiral Park's response. "We're humans, and you picked the wrong fight." In space near the destroyed trading station, the children watched news feeds on view screens. Both battles played out across the displays. Earth was winning. "We were scared," Jake said softly, "but now they're scared of us." "Good," Emma replied firmly. "Maybe now they'll think twice before taking anyone's children." In orbit around Earth, alien ships tried to retreat, but they couldn't. Human ships had surrounded them. Every exit was blocked. General Miller opened communication. "Zarnox forces, you have 2 choices. Surrender now or be destroyed. You have 60 seconds to decide." On Zarnox Prime, Counselor Tiran rushed to Vexthar's second-in-command. "The Supreme Commander is captured. Half our fleet is destroyed. Earth has destroyed our invasion force. We must surrender." Communication channels opened across the galaxy. Species that had suffered under Zarnox raids watched in amazement. The feared empire was being beaten by a species most considered primitive. "This is Speaker 9 of the Galactic Council," came a new voice. "All hostilities must cease immediately. The Council demands an emergency session." Admiral Clark received the message. He'd been expecting this too. The Galactic Council, the group that maintained peace between major powers, had finally noticed. "Admiral," Anderson said, "what do we do?" Clark looked at the 4 children who had started it all. They'd shown courage beyond their years. They'd helped coordinate the battle. They'd proven humans belonged in space, not as victims, but as equals. "We accept the Council session," he decided, But we don't stop until every prisoner is free and the Zarnoks pay for their crimes. The war wasn't over, but the battle was ending. Earth had proven it could fight. Now they needed to prove they could. The galaxy had a new player, and nothing would ever be the same. The Galactic Council chamber was unlike anything humans had seen before. It was a massive sphere floating in space, with transparent walls showing stars in every direction. Thousands of seats arranged in circles held representatives from hundreds of worlds. Ambassador Sarah Williams stood at Earth's newly assigned position. She was a former lawyer who had studied alien languages for 20 years. Now she represented all of humanity at the most important meeting in human history. The Arch-Counselor, Zareth, raised his 6 hands for silence. He was an ancient being who looked like a living crystal. His voice echoed through the chamber. The emergency session begins. Earth of the Sol system versus the Zarnoks Empire. The charges are serious. Admiral Clark stood beside Ambassador Williams. The 4 children, Jake, Emma, Tyler, and Sophie, sat behind them. They'd asked to attend. They were the witnesses who started it all. The Zarnoks representative stood across from them. Vexthar was in chains, but another official spoke for their empire. His name was Gorth, and his forearms moved nervously. Honored Counselor, Gorth began. The Zarnoks Empire regrets any misunderstanding. These primitives attacked us without warning after we conducted standard resource gathering. Resource gathering? Emma jumped up. You kidnapped us. You were selling people as slaves. Many alien representatives gasped. The chamber buzzed with translated whispers. Order, Zareth commanded. The human child will respect protocol. Sorry, Emma mumbled, but she didn't look sorry at all. Ambassador Williams stood smoothly. Honored Counselor, we have evidence of systematic kidnapping and slave trading by the Zarnoks Empire. This includes not only human children, but beings from over 50 different species. Tyler stood up. May I show the evidence? Williams nodded. Tyler operated a holographic device they'd brought. Images filled the center of the chamber. The prison ship, the trading station, records they'd captured showing years of illegal activities. You see, Tyler explained like he was giving a school presentation. We hacked their computer systems. They've been doing this for decades. They targeted primitive worlds because they thought we couldn't fight back. Sophie held up her sketchbook. Inside were detailed drawings of all the alien prisoners they'd met, including notes about their species and conditions. I drew everyone I could, Sophie said quietly. I wanted to remember them, to help them. Arch-Counselor Zareth studied the evidence. Around the chamber, other counselors murmured. Some looked shocked. Others seemed unsurprised, as if they'd suspected but never had proof. Spokesperson Gorth, Zareth addressed the Zarnoks. How do you respond to this evidence? Gorth sputtered. It shows nothing. These humans manipulated the data. Supreme Commander Vexthar was protecting our interests. Vexthar interrupted, chains rattling. I answer to no one. The strong take from the weak. This is natural law. A new voice spoke. Then what does it mean when the weak defeat the strong? A figure stepped forward that made every being in the chamber stir. It was Ambassador Krell from Zotha Prime. He wore formal robes now instead of prison clothes. Honorable Krell, Zareth, acknowledged. You may speak. I was their prisoner, Krell said. I witnessed their crimes. I saw them take children. I helped 4 brave human younglings escape. He bowed to Jake and his friends. They saved not just themselves, but hundreds of us. Another voice joined. We support these accusations. A delegation from the Murnathi Empire entered. They were insect-like beings whom the Zarnoks had been selling stolen technology to. When Earth ships arrived at our borders seeking our stolen people, we gave them sanctuary, their leader said. We had suspected the Zarnoks, but feared to challenge them alone. One by one, other species stood. The Keth, whose mining colony had been raided. The Durrani, who'd lost a research team. The Prelling, whose children had vanished from their orbital stations. Arch-Counselor Zareth's crystal form glowed brighter. The evidence is clear. This council finds the Zarnox Empire guilty of mass slavery, child abduction, and crimes against galactic peace. What about us? Vexthar demanded. They destroyed our station, our fleet, they started a war. Admiral Clark stepped forward. We ended it. There's a difference. Zareth raised his hands. The Zarnox Empire will pay reparations to all affected species. Their military will be reduced by 70%. Their government will face immediate oversight. Gorth's face turned dark. This is humiliation. The Zarnox Empire will remember this. As will every species you harmed, Ambassador Williams replied calmly. And now they know they have friends who will help. The Arch-Counselor floated higher. Now we must address Earth's status. You acted without Council approval. You engaged in military action in neutral space. The chamber grew quiet. This was what everyone wondered. Would Earth be punished too? You, also, Zareth continued, protected the weak, saved innocent lives, uncovered crimes this council failed to detect. He paused. Earth acted as a council member should act. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Therefore, Zareth announced, I propose immediate full membership for Earth in the Galactic Council, with special status as protector of primitive worlds. Voices rose in approval. Some objected, but they were few. The vote was overwhelming. Earth joined the galactic community not as supplicants but as equals. Jake raised his hand. Can I ask something? Everyone turned to the quiet boy who'd started this galaxy-changing event. Yes, Jake Morrison of Earth, Zareth encouraged. What happens when other bad guys try to take people? Will someone stop them like we stopped the Zarnox? Zareth's crystal form seemed to smile. That is why we have protectors. Earth has shown they understand this duty. Others will learn from your example. The council session ended with applause. As Earth's delegation left, dozens of species approached to offer friendship, trade, and alliance. 5 years later, the four friends returned to the now-reformed Zarnox homeworld as part of a diplomatic mission. The new Zarnox government had changed completely. They now worked to repair damage they'd caused. Jake was training to be a starship engineer. Emma had started an organization to help rescued slaves adjust to freedom. Tyler was developing better security systems for space stations. Sophie's drawings had become famous across the galaxy, showing the truth of their adventure. They visited the Zarnox capital and met with reformed leaders who apologized for their species' past. We were wrong, a young Zarnox counselor said. Your children taught us what courage means. We teach our young ones this story now. That night, the four friends sat on a balcony overlooking alien stars. They weren't just kids from Earth anymore. They were citizens of the galaxy. Do you think we changed things? Jake asked, still the quiet thinker. We changed everything, Emma replied confidently. We showed everyone that being strong isn't about hurting others. It's about protecting people, Tyler added, and knowledge, and working together. Sophie looked at her old sketchbook, now protected in a museum on Earth. I think we grew up. They had. They'd gone from scared children to heroes who changed history. They'd proven that humans belonged among the stars. Above them, Earth's newest Star Destroyer patrol passed by. Its mission, to protect others as Earth had been protected, to stop bullies like the Zarnox before they could hurt anyone. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Human children were not to be taken. Not because humans were stronger than everyone else, but because humans would never stop fighting to bring their people home. And sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a ship or gun. Sometimes it's 4 children who refuse to give up and a species that will move mountains to save them. The stars shone brightly that night, reflecting off 4 young faces that had seen too much, but had emerged stronger. Earth had joined the galactic community not through conquest, but through courage. Not through fear, but through the fiercest protection of all, a parent's love for their children. In the end, the galaxy was a safer place. All because someone took the wrong kids and learned what happens when you anger humanity.